What is going on, everyone, and welcome to Around the Metaverse, our weekly show. We bring together some of the best content creators from the Web3 community, talk about all the news, and give you guys everything you need to know to stay up to date. And this week, my name's Adam, and I'll be your host today, but more importantly, we've got a great group of guests. And this week, we've actually got a special episode in celebration of 3XP coming up this week. So we've got everyone here who's going to be at the conference for an
This
extra
is it.
special
Yeah,
episode of
everyone.
Around the
The whole
Metaverse.
conference right here.
Yeah, everyone's on the show right now. But first up, we got Crypto Stash in the house. How's it going, man, on this fine Monday?
I feel like I've gotten rugged multiple times today. I got rugged by a bank today. Hardcore rugged. Again. Got
What do you
rugged by
mean?
OBS. Getting rugged by Gary
Rugged by a
Gensler.
bank? Yeah,
Getting
without
rugged
Gary
by
Gensler.
Apple. God, it's like boom, boom, boom. Atomic wallet.
You need to go to
Just
sleep at that
L's.
point.
L's back and forth today. All day, nothing but L's. But if you're here watching right now, that's a W.
True.
Up next, we got a great group of guests for y'all. Everyone here is going to be at 3XP. First, we got Alliestrasza making her second appearance here on Around the Metaverse. Very popular Twitch streamer in the Web 2 space, making her way into the Web 3 space, dabbling her toes a little bit in it. But good to have you on the show. Allie, how are you?
I'm good. I love that introduction. I'm dabbling. Yes, I'm slowly but surely dabbling more and more into the Web3 games. And yes, I'm super excited for 3XP. Going to be playing a lot. And thank you for having me back.
Of course. Happy to have you. Next up, we got Classy Games, a fellow streamer and content creator in the Web3 space and one of the friends of the show. Happy to have you back on, Classy.
Yeah, happy to be here. Obsessively playing Web3 games. I was playing Spider Tank for like the past 4 hours, so
Dude,
no rumor here. I am playing a lot of games for sure.
I saw you had like a 12-hour live stream or something like that playing Spider Tanks like maybe a couple weeks back, and I literally was like,
Yeah.
bro, what did this man like have like bottles underneath the table like for the, you know what I mean, for the bathroom break? Like, what was he doing?
We call
That's
it
OG,
Celsius.
man. That's how
Celsius helps a lot.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
You
mad
don't know
respect-
about multiplayer gaming unless you've ever peed in a bottle while you're at a raid dungeon. I don't know, man.
Mad respect, man. Mad respect.
I don't
Or
think
the
I've
worst,
even ever done that.
no, the worst is back in the day. The worst
I-
is
well,
back
I've
in the
never done
day.
that.
Thought about it.
Trying to convince your mom that like I can't save the game. There's no way to pause it. Like, just save the game, honey. It's like, Mom, that's not how it works. I'm sorry. please don't unplug the Xbox. And then we got, last but certainly not least, on his first episode here on Around the Metaverse, we got Kyroh, another Web3 content creator, popular in the dead drop space and community. How's it going, Kyroh? Happy to have you on the show.
I'm good. Thanks for having me. Yeah, this should be a fun conversation to have. I've seen the topics and yeah, they have my head spinning. So let's get it.
Well, yeah, let's get into it, man. Let's jump right into it. We're going to be talking about a whole lot of stuff today and some, again, as it's been tradition recently on Around the Metaverse, some breaking news that I'm sure if you've been watching the markets, you're like, what the hell's going on? Why did I just lose all kinds of money? And it's because the devil himself, Gary Gensler, decided that listed several metaverse tokens or gaming crypto tokens that the SEC here in the U.S. is now going to be considering securities, or is it definitive that they're securities now, or are they leaning towards that way? I mean, I feel like it's always sort of a gray area here in the U.S. You know,
accusation. I mean, accusation. The thing with okay, we don't. We'll get into it, but yeah.
But yeah, so essentially what's happening is there's been an ongoing case or investigations and people trying to form cases against Binance. And now the SEC has come out with a statement essentially saying that Binance has been in violation of U.S. securities laws forever, essentially, because they've been offering tokens like, where's the list here? Sol, ADA, Matic, Filecoin, Atom, Sand, Mana, or Decentraland, for those who don't know Mana, Algo, AXS, so Axie Infinity on the list there. I don't know if they're still in the public opinion, good opinion anymore though. But I want to get your guys' opinions on if what the SEC is doing here is going to have adverse effects on crypto gaming, or Web3 gaming, and what we could do to stop, maybe stop it from happening, I guess. Stash, let me start with you, man. I mean, do you think this ruling from the SEC or what they're trying to do here is going to hurt Web3 gaming, at least here in the US?
I mean, I think that it's already been hurt. The thing is that all we've ever wanted is just some clarity. Just tell us what's up. Give us some rules and guidelines. And they literally were just like, nah, screw you. And they're like, all right, but we're just keep throwing lawsuits out and just keep tagging people. And we see this multiple times from the SEC and Gary Gensler in particular, the SEC underneath Gary. The dude loves the spotlight. He should just be a content creator. But the thing is like, with Binance, this is it's the largest crypto exchange in the world, and they have done a lot of these things. So when you talk about just what you said right now, these are some top tier major players, right? You're talking about Cardano, you're talking about Polygon. So when you want to talk about gaming, how does this affect us? Well, I mean, right there with Polygon, that's a pretty big one, right? Mm-hmm. Polygon is running a massive amount of the infrastructure right now for Web3 games, and more games have kind of chosen Polygon and will be choosing Polygon here in the future. They've been named in there, and then in addition to some other like actual games or metaverses like Sand, Decentraland, and Axie Infinity. But this is not it. Like don't think like, oh, if my token wasn't named by the SEC,
the floodgates are now open.
Yeah, but except the floodgates are open now, right? The floodgates are open. So if you think that they're only coming for Binance, that they're only going to be coming for BNB or only the tokens they named in this first suit, that is not going to be the case. Now, obviously the SEC has a case that has been ongoing with Ripple over these very issues, right? Whether their token they offered was a security, what that definition is, how that looks like for crypto tokens, and how it works in any kind of application, whether it's a game or not. And from what we can kind of tell, the SEC actually might lose that case. I'm not a big fan of Ripple, but if they lose, it'll have wide sweeping implications, right? And my buddy Helmet Fire was actually talking to me about this, and he was like, they're trying to get this going. They're trying to sue all these people and get this going before that case goes to judgment. And I'm like, but then all these, if that does happen and Ripple wins and the SEC loses, that means that all these games that maybe are being adversely affected by this are going to appeal and possibly countersue. I mean, because think about that. Like, you wouldn't put out any kind of actual, clear guidance on like, well, hey, if you have a game and you're offering some tokens and maybe you did, maybe you did an offering in the beginning, or maybe the way you're running it now makes it a security. Well, then, you're screwed. But no, at this point, there's got to be some retribution there. So if Ripple wins, then what is the recourse, right? So if all these games now in that interim time, some start losing like we're seeing market value, the entire market is dumping, but losing players, which is the biggest thing, right? So if you're a fledgling game, a game that is being in development, and something like this happens, you're going to lose players over it, and then there's no coming back from that. So you can appeal, or you could countersue, or you could do whatever you want, but as a game, how do you come back from that? And that's actually the biggest question, right? Because when you talk about acquisition of users for a game, that's the hardest thing. There's, we see great examples. Diablo spending millions of dollars on advertising to get people into their game, and for these smaller games like this, smaller indie studios, or some of even the bigger ones, what is the recourse there? They're going to end up losing all these players over something like this, even if it's not actually true, even if it's not actually going to go to court, or they're not actually going to be sued. They're going to lose people over this. And that actually is the biggest travesty, I think, here with what's going on, is that they're going to affect these businesses, the other elements of the business, not just the token part, which is a small part.
The Diablo franchise had to double their marketing budget after Diablo Immortal, after the fallout of like, don't you guys have phones? But no, I mean, I think you're absolutely right. And, I wonder what is going to happen with this, particularly with new companies and games that are coming out, or, having aspirations to build something. Are they going to go outside the United States now? I mean, we're not doing anything here to make it more friendly for people, or more friendly of an environment for people to like innovate and, have the clarity that they need to build a good company around a Web3 game. I think that's just going to push tons of people outside the U.S. Classy, let me ask you, man. I mean, why do you think the SEC in the U.S. here is so anti-crypto, anti-Web3? And I guess really all this stems from like securities laws and having to be an accredited investor, and like, you're 18, you can go to war and gamble, but you can't, play a game and invest in, owning your own digital assets. What's the deal there?
Yeah, I mean, the main issue for the SEC has always been token sales, right? They're always going after ICOs, IEOs, IDOs, whatever you'll call them. Just like token sales in general have been red flags for them. I think the Ripple case is going to settle a lot of that beef. In general, why they're against crypto so much is stability, right? They're already in this sense of platitude where they have their stocks are doing well, they're all making their money there. Why change it? It's like big oil and electric companies. They're all at war with each other. So I'd assume in terms of financial sectors that crypto is no stranger to this. And instead of, like I said, just bringing regulation over here and giving some kind of rule book for these people to follow, they'd rather not do that, because the longer that they can keep crypto at bay, the more time that they have to they themselves adopt some sort of crypto-based technology to take over the space. So, I don't know if they're going to do some stable coin, what they're going to do, but at some point they're going to end up doing something here, and they're just buying time until that ends up happening.
Well, yeah,
Definitely smells like greed to me. Like
Yeah.
overall, just trying to hold power and very greedy.
Yeah, it's about
Goldman,
control, right? Like if they can't control it, then it's a lot harder.
yeah, Goldman Sachs is literally #1 on Gary Gensler's speed dial. He's like he's got the bank in his back pocket, man, telling him like, no, no freedom for the people out there who want to do what they want with their money. But no, Allie, let me ask your opinion on this. What do you think? Like, if you were building a game right now and like you saw this and heard this, what would you be worried about? I mean, and you said you're based in a game that's based in the U.S. And how do you what would you be looking at doing to kind of resolve this? Like Stash was saying, and would you try and stop this from affecting your acquisition of users?
Yeah, I mean, that's tough. Game development takes, a ton of time. So if there was any kind of fear that something that I've been working on for years could fail because of the mess that, is the status of things right now, then I probably would just want to play it safe, honestly. And I think that's what Stash was saying earlier, is that it's stifling, people are scared to innovate and on these new systems if there isn't transparency. And so I really think transparency is the most important thing, because even if some things are deemed not okay or illegal, then at least game developers could work within those parameters and figure out what is fine, unless they, completely just ban everything. But I don't think that is what is going to happen. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's tough, honestly.
As an end user, they're just gonna have to put into their like the install guide for the game, like have a VPN ready for whenever you want to access. Like if you're in the US,
that was CZ's thing. Like he was like, "Hey guys, just use a VPN. It's okay. You can still access Binance.com if you're in the US."
Yeah.
I mean, he legit said it, and it sucks, because you're right. It's like I was saying, it's all about stifling the enterprise that we're trying to be a part of here globally. And the more we push out crypto in the United States and Web3 and blockchain and all those types of things, the more people want to develop and push all those things overseas. And
I think eventually that's why it won't just be completely eradicated and banned, because if everyone starts going overseas, the US is going to panic at some point and be like, oh shit, this is a bad idea, So we're in that infancy stage right now where there's trying to have as much control as they possibly can. But eventually I think the scales will tip, and they're going to, their hand will be forced to accept it, to some extent.
they're waiting for FedCoin. Once the US CBDC launches, they're like, all right, every game, no holds barred. Do whatever you want as long as you're using USDC.
I mean, that's actually valid. It may not necessarily be like, you're going to force you to use it, but it could be that might be why they're stalling in this kind of way. Is they're waiting for something like that to roll out, and trying to create a situation where the market will be like, oh yes, thankful the CBDC has come and saved us all. And I mean, like, legit, that seems like an evil ass plan that clown Gensler would come up with and then just try and execute. Someone in chat was like, SEC stands for seriously evil clowns. I like that.
Circle and USDC are going to be the ones like holding the government's hand, because it's like everyone already has USDC, like it's so. if anyone is going to be the one, I could see that maybe potentially happening. Who knows? But I don't know. Kyroh, let me ask you, man. I mean, like, with the SEC continuously coming down on like stifling innovation here in the United States, I mean, do you ever see that trend reversing, or do you like if you were starting a project right now, is it just like screw the U.S. We're moving, like let's get the fuck out of here
Right.
and go somewhere else?
I think Ali made a good point a little bit ago about that. But I have a question on all of these that were considered securities. Not all these companies are based in the U.S. currently, are they? Because I know that at least AXS is Vietnam, and I know a couple other ones aren't. But like, yeah, I mean, I don't. I mean, I feel like everybody probably would move out of the US at the start, and until, like, the reason for, Western adoption is needed, then like, it won't change until then. Like, I
Mhm.
know, during the bull run stages of NFT gaming, a lot of people really wanted, more Westernization in a lot of the games that were being created because a lot of things were marketed towards, like, overseas audiences. And I think that, like, whenever games get to the stage of development where they think that they can make their game super mainstream and actually get mass adoption, they'll definitely want to be more involved with the US. So I can see there being some sort of negotiation at that point, and maybe some sort of compromise. But I mean, how do you work with the mafia? That's, like, basically what's going on right now. Like, how do you work with the mob? Like, they're just twisting our arms, like, getting what they want, and it's just I mean, to me, it's just blatant extortion and greed. Like, it's kind of hard to even try to wanna deal with that. So, I mean, maybe it's just compromise on both ends. Maybe the gaming scene gets so big overseas that the US is like, "Why are we missing out on all of this?" Or I don't know. That's a hard question to answer, honestly.
No, I mean, it's an uncertain thing, right? And I feel like we're never going to get the clarity that we need, mainly because the rate at which this, industry is evolving and these gaming and crypto is just so fast that, there's no way that the people in the government and in their positions can even fathom like regulating it because it's just going to be something different the next day. There's just going to be new factors to take into
Moves
consideration,
fast. Yeah.
and
Well, no, Isaiah, yeah, Isaiah moves fast. Yeah, I wanted to just kind of touch on Kyro's point too. When you talk about where we're at right now in this first step we saw, right? They're like, all right, it's Binance was a big problem, and then here's a couple of tokens that were also a big problem. You think, like I said, and I said it's not going to stop there. I didn't just mean with tokens. So there's also NFTs and gaming assets that many companies have offered that give you a return. Now, whether that return is, like here's USDC kind of return or it's some other return, that is still going to be technically security if you can cash it out into USDC in some sort of way, right? So you talk about these assets being, viewed like that. NFTs could easily be, not every NFT, but there are quite a few out there from a lot of these different Web3 games that
most.
give passive rewards and give passive, income, and those will also be coming next. So
Would that kill yield utility on NFTs? Would projects have to figure out some other form of utility besides just giving people token rewards?
yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. So if the token is something that you could then cash out to, through USDC, then you think about like, okay, well, if I have this NFT and every day it generates, X amount of, we'll say, 5 Gala tokens. It generates 5 tokens per day, and then you can cash that token out to USDC, and they sold it like that, saying, hey, here's this NFT. If you buy it, then you're guaranteed to get these types of profits. You're guaranteed to get some sort of profit in this token. It's the exact same thing of saying, hey, here's this token. If you buy it now, there's a guarantee that it's going to go up and you're going to make money. It's the same exact thing. Now, whether they actually classify as that or they go that direction, but it is possible. It is 100% possible that can happen. It'll be farther down the line, right? They're just barely getting through Ripple and now getting to Binance. How long will it be until it's NFTs? Well, it'll probably be quite some time. But if you think they're not on Gary's radar, then that's definitely the case. And then you think, does it go further? Like how much further does it start going, right? And I think that's the kind of issue that we see too, overreaching.
Curious
every
to see
every
how it all gets
single
enforced. Like, at some point, it's just like the enforcement of all that would have to happen, and that would be a really
Every
interesting
single
prospect.
Web3 game has a new like landing page, and it's before you sign it. Here's your login, and then before you get to play the game, here's your accredited investor login.
Well, that's true. Well, I mean, and you know, taking Gal as an example, and this is something I talked about with Bitbender on the interview on the channel here a while back, is that you know Benefactor he came up this very controversial tweet of like, we're not here for the ROI. We don't give a shit about how much money you make. Screw you, ROI Moon Boys. Right, and that was kind of one of those things. Like it's kind of a pre-SEC. Like then they can, because literally because you think that that's not a big thing and was kind of a joke, and some people got mad about it, and some people were just like, oh, whatever, you know. But they actually are using CZ's tweets against him in this SEC filing. If you go look at the filing from the SEC, there are multiple tweets in there that they are using against him as part of their case against Binance. And those types of things will definitely be used against every person that they want to go after, every company they want to go after. So I mean, you know, just maybe cleverly putting it out there. I don't know if that's going to be enough, but hopefully we'll see.
This is like rap lyrics and RICO charges. They're literally just breaking down doors with tweets now. Show like they got receipts.
Yeah,
That's
quick!
crazy.
Someone crash the hard drive, dump it in the lake, quick! No, but I mean, you know,
Cool.
I don't know what's going to happen with the SEC and here in the U.S. What likely is going to happen is, I mean, like how are they even going to go about enforcing it? You know what I mean? Like, if anything, people are just
they can't, like, you know, when it comes to, you know, just smaller level stuff, it'd be incredibly difficult. But they'll go after the ones once you see, we've already seen this. Gary Gensler goes after the ones that are going to make headlines. He wants to make headlines. He went after Kim Kardashian for stuff like this. You know, he's going after her. It's the ones that make headlines. He wants to try and make a statement so people see this. That is part of his game. That's why he's doing this now. That's why he went out. That's why Cardano, Matic, you know, and a bunch of the top tier coins are also named in this suit as well, because it's going to make headlines. It's going to make people pissed off. More people are going to be talking about. They want this to be out in the public. There is a play here.
We
agent
need a Boston Tea Party, but for crypto.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Senior agent in chat, Drew and Ryder said secret agent stash coin. So yeah, Gary Gensler's coming for you next, stash. We got
no tokens ever submitted, man. I've never. Yeah, people have asked a lot. They're like, I'm not doing it. I was never going to do it. So
no tokens. That's, I mean, you know, we take that. We've taken the U.S. the gray area in the U.S. into you know, concern here, and you know, it's been difficult even for us just to like try and do cool things for the agents, because we'd love to be able to do more cool things with NFTs, but you know, not trying to get Gary Gensler coming down on us, you know, not trying to get that lawsuit in the mail. But no, you know, it's interesting to see what might happen here. But you know, I think a lot of what might happen is, well, at least directly related to gaming, is they're going to come after the games that are really, like you're saying that they're here to make money, that you're here, you know, like this game exists for you to play and earn, let's say. I know that was like the buzzword, right, a year and a half ago. Basically, what gave birth to like Web3 gaming. Like before Web3 gaming was Web3 gaming, it was play and earn gaming. And we've evolved from there, thank God. But I want to get your guys' opinions on, is play and earn gaming just like a trend in the rearview mirror, or is it something that's like a foundational component of Web3 gaming, right? Of like what makes a Web3 game. Kyroh, I mean, let me ask you: were you around in the Axie Infinity days like a year and a half ago? All right, yeah,
Axie
okay, all right,
Infinity
yeah,
shirt
all
on.
right, okay, all right, there you go.
someone's got some fat AXS bags, huh?
No, I
Where's the
don't
AXS
actually.
bags,
I don't.
Kyroh?
Thank God I don't. Actually, the funny thing is I play the LAN game that they have, and because I got like a super good opportunity from like the biggest whale in that game to play like the best set of plots. And so like every season for the past couple seasons, I've just been playing casually and landing on the leaderboards and getting AXS rewards for it. And they were going to release the season 2 rewards yesterday, but they delayed it for one day. And in that one day, of course, this SEC stuff happens, and 15% of that is now just knocked out of the park. But no, I mean, yeah, I was around. I joined the crypto NFT Web3 scene at the height of the bull run, literally the top. I got involved with Axie. So I've been friends with Bryson for like a decade. We used to be on the same Call of Duty team together. And whenever I saw him blowing up from all the Axie stuff, I asked him what it was all about. Got into it. At the start, man, it was crazy. The amount of money that you could make at the start was
Yeah, it
actually
was fire.
stupid. And so, yeah, I mean, got involved back then, saw how it all went down, saw how everything just took the tumble that it took. Everybody kind of like learned and grew with the space. I mean, in my opinion, actually was like the scapegoat for like the whole scene. Like they were the front runner for most of the things that were going on at that point, implementing like the stuff that was working from other games, innovating some of their own stuff, and everybody just kind of figured out that the model that was going on blew up way too fast for people and wasn't sustainable, and watched as the play to earn dream kind of turned from play to earn into play to own. And that's like that overtook, like nobody even said play to earn like a couple months back. Everyone was saying play to own, and that was the big buzzword, and
Well,
saw
yeah,
it all turn into that. And then now there's been somewhat of a resurgence of people wanting like a play and earn type thing back. I think that like it's just on a game by game basis, the way that they're doing it is all gonna be different. I mean, some games are gonna put in skins that you can earn, for playing the games. Some games might be able to have, some of those token rewards unless all this SEC stuff kills all that. And I just think that, like, the space has just evolved with that, and that was really, like a good test subject for everything, for everyone to just learn what
mhm.
you really should and shouldn't do. And yeah.
Yeah, but before Axie Infinity, play to earn wasn't a thing. That's what birthed, I think, the
Whoa, whoa,
term play to
whoa,
earn.
whoa, whoa. Of course it
Whoa.
was. Esports is not play and earn.
I
I
mean,
mean,
it
it's
is.
literally exactly what you're doing. I mean, it's the same thing. Is it?
I might
it-
argue I might
It's
argue
compete
that.
and earn.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
it's the same
competition is
compete.
just
It's all the same thing. You're doing the same
I don't
thing. You're
know.
playing. You're
I don't know.
competing. You're earning.
Okay, well, like, there's a difference
System is
between
different of
competing for like a
delivery.
leaderboard or competing in like a tournament style thing or like somewhat of a wager or competition versus just getting on the game and playing. And like, I don't know. I mean, it's how you define the phrase play and earn. Is play and earn, does it encompass everything that where you if you're playing the game you earn something, or is it just like the old like play and earn was you get on the game, you do a basic set of tasks, you earn. And like that's where I would argue it's like I think the phrasing of the subject has really changed a lot as we've gone on. So I don't know. I mean, esports has just been around. Like esport, nobody was calling it play and earn back then. So I think it's just two separate things.
I think
But
if
I get what you're saying.
I mean,
anything,
that's just
if
branding,
there's
man. That's just branding, right?
if
So you're
there's
just
a
talking about definitions and terms. I mean, essentially, it's very similar. Like you can say, oh well, play and earn is only if it's a shitty, scammy game that's like trying to run everything to the bottom, like Axie Infinity was, and then you could say that's a definition of play and earn. Or you could literally just take it what it is like you're playing a video game and you can earn money doing it somehow, which is a lot of games. Fucking WoW could be a play to earn game if you want to look at it like that, man. People are farming gold on that shit for decades, making bank.
Landscape. Yep. Yeah, so maybe it's like the difference between whether it's like it's intentional or not. I don't know. Yeah,
right.
maybe
Well,
we're arguing over
then does
semantics.
Dookie Dash where is that? Was that an esport? Was that an esport event
I mean,
where it was like here's a leaderboard, people who are highly skilled playing this game competing for this prize in an esports type manner?
the
competitive
definition of
subway
esports has
No,
surfers.
changed
I
a
don't
lot
think
over the
so.
last 10 years. Like you can make an esport almost out of anything, but is
Yeah.
it actually like really competitive? Is it really like a thing that could be like on a main stage being a competition? I mean, they try to make Axie like into a huge esport, and I mean, there was crazy prize pools. People were making a shit ton of money, but does it really work for a viewer experience like that? I don't know.
No.
Like the definition of esports is just I don't know. Like the competition level of it, I feel like it is what separates like the play and earn type stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, and
We're
Axie
arguing over
Infinity is just
semantics.
a dulled down TCG at its core. You know what I
Right,
mean?
that's
So
true.
like,
Wait,
and
wait, what were you gonna say, Allie? I wanted to hear about what you think about that.
I think I was just responding to is it an esport? Like I generally think of esports as like there's some kind of preset like league, there's like this all this information of like how you can participate, and it's not just I think it was in relation to the Dookie Dash. That's where I chimed in. I wouldn't consider Dookie Dash an esport. Like people were able to earn money, but I don't think that necessarily classifies it as an esport. I think that's just what I was going for.
I think I
well,
kind
I
of
mean,
agree, but I'm also a purist. So I'm from like the old Web 2 esports like scene. Like I grew up in the Call of Duty scene whenever it was coming up, and there was like established ways that you could become a pro player, like all that kind of stuff. Like what we're doing in Web3. I mean, there's people out there calling themselves Web3 professional gamers, and let me tell you, when I see that, I never cringe harder because, like, dude, it takes way more to get that tag of like being a professional gamer. Like,
Hey, there's there's a like a Web3 native, I guess you'd consider them, esports team at that's going to be at 3XP. Nouns
Xborg.
Esports,
Oh,
well,
different
and
one.
Xborg, yeah,
Yeah.
are both going to
Well,
be
I
there.
mean, and you also got to think about, like, esports is something that developed over time. It wasn't just like, all right, we got games, we got games. Oh, esports all of a sudden, boom, it's here.
Mm,
It
true.
was something that started off in, like we say, oh, you could be a professional player now. Here's the steps and ways to do it. But it didn't start off like that. It evolved over time, and I think that we'll probably see kind of that happening. I mean, we've already seen that happening here in Web3, where platforms and the way we go about things or do things is evolving over time. It's evolving pretty quick too, I think.
Honestly, in the Web 2 world, like the whole conversation of esports being in a pretty bad state of things is huge right now.
Yeah.
Like that's a big conversation topic. And so maybe it's all timely and that all of this is kind of culminating so we can figure, a new system out together. But yeah, it's definitely a big conversation.
Well, yeah,
I
it's
like
like
that. Figured out
the
together.
the revenue
Okay.
model for esports tournaments and esports teams is what, like, get tons of sponsors, right?
Yeah.
Hot, like, get a venue, get computers, like, sell tickets, and then hopefully we'll make our money back on all of that stuff. But when, like, you incorporate Web3 into the mix, there's a bunch of different new avenues for you to, like, incorporate different revenue streams into things like an esports tournament. Which, like you said, hopefully that's something that they can take advantage to resolve the kind of uncertainty that is going on with esports in general right now.
I, I'm sorry. I think I'm gonna argue like the whole uncertainty thing. Like, yeah, there's like things going on and like new things are happening, and we might like things might explode for a little bit, and we might figure out something new that comes out that's way better. But like, I don't think esports is in trouble at all. Like, gaming is only
Ah,
growing. It's growing every. No, no, no. Wait. I don't think so. Like, obviously, the current model, the way that you're talking about, like, yeah, everybody just gets sponsors and tries to sell like types of products to their fans. That only works for certain organizations. Like, you see it work really well for stuff like organizations like Optic. Like, Optic has like a diehard fan base. They all their events are always packed. Whenever they're playing, the viewership goes up 50,000 viewers or whatever, and like they sell a lot of the products that they're sponsored by to their users because they really believe in the products. I think it just comes down to like a lot of these organizations weren't doing like the proper things. They were skipping steps. Like Optic turned themselves from an esports organization into like a content organization, and then that in turn built a community that they have now people to sell to. And I mean, yeah, a lot of it will die off from what we see. I mean, I don't know. Everybody knows about the phase stuff going on right now, and like I can't tell you how bad that is for the rest of the gaming scene for phase to like actually fail, like going public. People are rooting for them to fail, but that just kills like any
yeah.
type of revenue coming into new organizations or sponsorships or like all that stuff. So yeah, we might go on a downtrend for a while, but I mean, I think esports and gaming in general is just growing so much every year that there's no way that it'll
Yeah,
completely fall off.
No,
The
I'm definitely
big
not. I don't feel like it's going anywhere, but yeah, I think that there is going to be kind of a
turmoil.
reckoning. We'll say a reset here. Yeah, I mean, not just FaZe Clan is the only ones that are in trouble. You saw TSM also have to like sell their stuff too and like pull out of doing like and so
Thanks, FTX.
yeah, it just comes down to like how many of these organizations were already unsustainable, and we start to see that like same thing in Web3. How many of these organizations in these setups were unsustainable, going in a certain route and manner, and they just didn't. Optic, you're right, has done an amazing job, but they kind of pivoted and have done a lot more beyond just we have an esports team and we play games.
Yeah, they should get the branding part of it, and so
the
that's where I think like a lot of orgs fail.
The business model of gaming teams sucks. Like, I
Yeah,
just want to throw it out there. It's not sustainable. So you
right.
can be these massive gaming teams and still fail. Like if TSM and FaZe Clan, I mean, well, okay, FaZe Clan's in a little different category, but if something as big as TSM can fail, like there's something wrong there. And I think people are slowly but surely starting to realize that these gaming teams are not sustainable. Yeah, just saying that.
FaZe Clan and Blizzard can sit on the bench together and be sad for a little while, while the gaming industry, forgets and moves on for a little bit.
Hey, the
Um,
Diablo launch is going really well. That's all I'm saying. So we can
Well,
shit
yeah.
on
Yep.
Blizzard, but
We're all playing
True.
it. Everyone's like,
True.
except for
yeah.
Kyroh, he's not playing it. He's still playing Dead Drop.
Yep.
No, but I mean, I think that what's happening, well, what's happening with esports at least is kind of similar in a sense to what happened with play to earn. Like, it was super popular for, I mean, at least on a longer time scale for esports at least, but like it was super popular, it blew up, coming to realize that the business model isn't sustainable, and they're trying to refigure it out. I'm curious, do you guys think that like play to earn is ever going to become like we always see trends like come back 20 years later, like bell bottom jeans or whatever it is, like 80s trends and things like that. They always come back. Like, is play to earn going to be, next bull run? Is it going to be like, oh, play to earn this and that again? Or is it coming back, or is it dead forever?
I want to hear what
Anyone?
Classy has to say, man.
Yeah.
Classy hasn't said nothing, man.
So what play to earn is subjective. I mean, it could be Robux from making a place and selling that out for cash. It could be getting an operator bundle for a game and that ends up getting some kind of yield. It could be CS where you get those little missions that you do from those badges you buy for $5 and then you could sell the skins on the open market. It could be like spider tanks where you get victory points and then it's a little sus. There's so many different ways of doing it that I feel like inevitably at some point, some form of play to earn or play and earn is going to exist. People will always find ways to game systems. I mean, RuneScape Gold, World of Warcraft, Arcade, every MMO that exists on the planet. In MOBAs, people selling rare skins on peer-to-peer websites. I mean, every game has some form of play and earn. Maybe it be that most people don't participate in it, but it does exist. I mean, I in League of Legends was doing my own thing in high elo, and I'm sure Alliestrasza has learned a lot about that in her career in Hearthstone. People do things, right? They sell cards, they sell accounts, they sell all kinds of things to make their living. So, yeah, play to earn, play and earn. It's always going to be here, even if the term marketing wise doesn't make any sense for people nowadays because they associate it with Ponzi scheme, Axie Infinity. That model, it obviously doesn't work. We know it doesn't work. We shouldn't put a tokenized economy and then just give a limited yield for people that want to play. But play and earn, yeah, absolutely. It's not like an 80s term. Every single day, people are participating in it, even if it's not exactly in the cryptocurrency space.
Yeah, I mean, like Stash and you say, man, it's been going on for years, right? If you're farming RuneScape Gold, you were playing to earn.
Well,
Um,
it seems like almost this perfect storm. Like we've all been kind of talking about these these different elements, right? So you have like esports, kind of like unsustainable in some ways, and we're seeing issues there. And the fact that you have been able to earn in games in multiple ways, but kind of doing it in a black market type of way. Which I mean, I've not only been scammed multiple times, but had accounts banned for doing these things too. So like it's kind of the same thing. Like, hey, we just want some clear ass regulation, and we want to build all this into the game so it's all clear and transparent, so we can do the things that everyone's already doing anyways, but in a clear and transparent manner, right? If I am farming WoW gold and I want to sell it, there should just be a clear and transparent World of Warcraft marketplace that I can go on to and say, hey, I'm selling 1 million gold. Here's X amount of dollars, and it's all easy. It's connected. And someone in chat made a good a good point is that esports and some of these other things, they're already, tax inclusive, right? A prize for an esports, win is you're going to be taxed on it. But crypto's a little bit out of the reach, right? And so, I mean, all these things kind of having issues, maybe coming together here to form like the Voltron of gaming and playing and earning and transparency of gaming. That's what I want to see. The
Put it on a
Voltron of gaming.
blockchain. Put it on a blockchain so you know who's getting what, and get taxes taken automatically out of all the purchases. So
It could be done. It could be done so easy. It could be done.
People
Yeah,
don't need to worry
yeah.
on their returns. They could just do it automatically through the blockchain, and everyone would be happy. But nope, it's got to be confusing. Gary Gensler's got to invite people to come and for clarity, and then when they do call, he doesn't pick up the phone.
Yeah.
It's bullshit, man.
Just give me a call, guys. It's cool. Yeah, oh, we'll definitely. And then he's like, Gary, come on.
It rings. It rings. It goes. This mailbox is full. You cannot leave a message right now. It's like the SEC's mailbox is full. That's what we're getting from you, Gary Gensler, and we're sick of it, man. We're sick of it. But no, I think. I mean, all that being said, and with all the turmoil that could be happening in esports, the uncertainty with regulation here in the U.S. for Web3 gaming, I still think we're probably in the best position, like as an industry that we've been in. And talking about like 3XP coming up this week, when like what other conference has there been that's going to bring all these Web 2 and Web 3 people together in a celebration of like everything that's been happening of improvement since like Axie Infinity days over the past year and a half. I'm curious. I'm curious. Well, so we're we had a lightning round question for 3XP, but I don't. Are we going to do that one or the Apple one, Stash? What are you pointing at?
Do the Apple one.
Okay, do the Apple one. Okay, all right. So on this episode, Stash is ready to talk about how Apple rugged him.
Okay, let's do it.
No, but so yeah, all right. So if you guys were watching today, Apple had their big conference where they announced the VR headset. I want to know on this episode's lightning round if you guys would purchase one of the Apple Vision Pros. So
Hell
we're gonna
no.
go. All right. Well, I was gonna say we're gonna go in order of Kyroh, Classy, Allie, and Stash. So Kyroh, would you buy an Apple Vision Pro?
Dude, I have a VR headset. You think I'm spending 3,500 before tax on this thing that's just going to end up being a paperweight? What game devs are going to develop on this thing? They're going to do a couple cool things with like the Disney shit that they showed, which I don't know. The headset looks cool, all right? It looks cool. But like every time some new tech comes out or something that's supposed to be game changing comes out, they release this expensive ass version that comes out for all the rich people. People buy it. It goes completely obsolete in like 3 years when a much sleeker, lighter, cooler design comes out. And it's like $2,000 less. Like, I'm just not wasting my money on that. I know what the capabilities of VR right now. And like, unless they're paying like some devs crazy amounts of money to make flagship products or games, then it's not going to be that worth it, I don't think. Unless like I said, like maybe some devs come over because they see this and they start building like flagship VR games and they really do start trying to like move the needle forward. But like I think VR just until it gets cheaper, they kind of topped out on like what's gonna happen because there's just no users. Like people don't buy VR headsets like that. They're just too expensive.
I still have not ever been in VR, which is kind of shameful to
Amazing.
say. But
You have to.
next up, Classy, would you buy an Apple Vision Pro?
Not at this price. I mean, for me personally, it'll be like $3,500, then taxes, and then you got to think about the 300 accessories they plop onto it, and the 300 different games on top of that,
The
and then the DLCs
subscriptions.
on those games, and
Yeah.
the subscriptions on them, and then you're down $300,000. So maybe it'll be like Tesla, where they started really expensive, and then a year later it was like $1,000 less, and then slowly over time it actually became affordable. I don't know. Like, I mean, rich people are going to have a little fun with it, right? It'll be their toy, but there's no shot everybody's going to be doing it, especially now, right? Like, things aren't doing that well.
In this
There's not-
economy?
yeah, this economy.
All the
Hell
Apple
no.
brand loyalists are in shambles right now.
I mean, I got an iPhone and I'm not doing that. Crazy. I'll get a friend that gets it and then I'll try it, of course.
All right, Allie, would you buy an Apple Vision Pro?
Okay. In principle, yes. All right. I'm just going unpopular opinion. I am an Apple enjoyer. Okay, don't come for me. This is unpopular in the gaming
Coming for
world.
you.
But I love my
It's fair.
MacBooks, and okay, I am an Apple enjoyer. Right now, absolutely not. For all the points mentioned earlier, it's probably not going to be usable. Not enough games. Like, no. Right now, no. But eventually, yes, absolutely.
AC power adapter sold separately, right?
Yeah.
Power adapter
Of
sold
course.
separately.
Well,
And the Stash, finally, would you buy the Apple Vision Pro?
no.
Why
But
not?
you know what? Okay, so when I was talking about Apple rugging us, yeah, the price is crazy, ridiculous high. And then also too, the way that they marketed this, I watched the whole thing. The way they market this is like this is something you're going to be using a lot. Like you watch movies, do this. But dude, did you not see the freaking giant battery pack that they have plugged into this thing? It's a little cord, and you have to have it in your pocket. They did a really good job in all the videos that they did of not showing
Hiding
the battery pack ever. Like they never showed it. But it's only going to get a maximum 2 hours usage before you got to plug it in and charge it. So how are you going to watch a movie? No Avatar for you guys. You can't watch Avatar on this, but you can watch anything under 2 hours before it turns off right in the middle. And then they're pushing all these work productivity and all these other things but you only got 2 hours. Good luck. I'm sure there'll be like extended batteries and things like that, but it's already crazy.
They're gonna have to like add. They're gonna have an add-on where it's like a little pedal that you can like connect to it, and you can like, you know, like
You're
I
sitting
heard
on your
about
couch,
this.
just like, all right,
Yeah.
yeah, gotta keep going. My movie's gonna stop.
I think that
Get your steps in and charge your Vision Pro.
I think that like one day VR headsets, if they get to the point of being like as powerful as a medium level PC that you can buy as like an all-in-one thing, and you don't need to buy a keyboard, a mouse, like 2 or 3 monitors, like your desk, like all that stuff. If it ever gets around to the price point of what that would cost and the specs of that, you could see some people start to really replace their like home setups with something like that. But until the convenience level is, like, that much better, the price point's somewhere close, it's just not happening, and
That's
games
what
have
they
to be
build this
developed.
as. That's literally, if you watch the thing, that's what they build
But
this.
it's just
They
yeah, but
build
that's
it.
just not where we are. Like,
It
they
may or
do
may
a good
not be,
job
but
of
they
marketing
literally
it,
like
but
they literally said it in the commercial. They're like, look, you can. The guy was like, if you took the price of a TV and a monitor and a computer and a mouse and a keyboard and everything else, and you put it all, that would be about the same price as this expensive ass headset, and you can replace them all with this thing. But once again, you can only use it for 2 hours until you charge it again.
yeah, that's just such a buzzkill.
It's like, all right.
Now, the
Yeah,
Disney thing that they showed was really cool. You said you watched the whole thing, so, like, the part where they showed, like, the
Yeah.
sports where the sports, like, you can see, like, somebody goes dunks, you can watch an overhead view of the dunk right after it happens, or something in football, like, the same thing, like, all that's super cool, but I don't know, man, it's not there for mass adoption yet.
well, it's just
Eventually, though, like, that's sick. I haven't actually seen the breakdown, but if you
Yeah.
could do that with sports, like, it's
So
coming
sick.
No,
someday,
it's
and
cool.
that
There's a lot of
I
great features.
I'd live to
Yeah.
see the day because that sounds awesome,
I
honestly.
think, like,
Well,
if everyone was using them, everyone would love VR, but
Mhm.
until everyone can use it, it's just like, who cares?
it's the normal bell curve of technology adoption. The early adopters who have the money or are like, you know, well, in this case have the money or have connections somehow to get it, will use it. Like you said, a couple of years, sleeker, better, more finely tuned version comes out that's lower cost to produce. More people buy it. It becomes more normal and ingrained into like regular use. But before you know it, everyone's got not a BlackBerry in their pocket, but an iPhone or a Galaxy. And you know, before we know it, everyone's gonna have a little. Hopefully, not everyone has like some kind of weird pod over their head, like walking around outside.
Nah, bro, it's not. It's never.
What do you do
I saw
outside?
somebody in one of my chats say, if I see someone walking around with that thing outside, I'm gonna rob them right there. The spot they may see it coming, but there's nothing they're gonna do to stop me. And I was like, yeah, that's a fair point.
It's like that
man.
episode of South Park where Butters goes into where they go into VR and Butters or I think it's Butters. I don't know, but it's like they're walking around and they don't know that like it's actual reality happening.
Yeah.
They're getting mugged and they like, you know, they think it's VR. They're getting mugged in
It's
VR.
hilarious.
No, but you know, Apple, Drew and Ryder said it best. Apple catfished us a little bit on this one. They didn't show us everything. They only took a picture from the, you know, the head up, and you know, we'll deal with it for now, Apple. But we are running out of time tonight, folks. This is all we've had for Around the Metaverse. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. All you guys for sticking with us watching and for joining on the show. Allie, Classy, Kyroh, thank you guys for coming out tonight. Staff as well. Hope you guys have a great time at 3XP this week. If anyone watching is going to be there, keep an eye out because you guys might have a chance to come say what's up and hang out with you know, your favorite crew out here.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it for tonight, folks. Check us out next Monday for another episode of Around the Metaverse at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. So stay tuned. But that's it, folks. We out.
Peace.